History of World War I. World War I is the story of the first terrible and painful blood vampire and shocking war in the history of the world. The year 1914 was the year of the beginning of the tragic story of destruction in the history of the world. The people of Europe, who by then were more advanced than other nations and were fully equipped with modern weapons and destructive materials, were looking for a spark to create a painful story of mutual chaos and bloodshed that finally broke out on 28 June 1914, when Austria became available. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, Crown Prince and Crown Prince of the 200 Kingdoms of Hungary, and his wife Sofia were assassinated in Sarajevo by a Serbian nationalist named Gavrilo Princip, who belonged to the terrorist organization Black Hand. Serbia and Austria. Relations with Hungary were already very bad. Austria over Serbia Russia Emma. He used to interfere in the internal affairs of Hungary, and now, on the agenda of establishing the Great Serbian Empire, the Serbian government, at the expense of the Russian forces, attacked Austria. Hungary's crown prince and his wife were killed by a terrorist organization in Austria to destabilize the Hungarian government and thus Austria. The European countries were divided into two clear factions due to the implementation of the Hungarian plan to occupy the Serbian territories. One group consisted of the divided countries like Great Britain, Russia and France, while the other group consisted of Germany, Austria. It consisted of Hungary and Turkey. Even the small countries related to the geography of these big countries could not be safe from the flames of war. The geographical importance of some countries led them to play in the war, while the interests of some countries and promises of post-war concessions fueled the war. Under the defense agreement between Serbia and Russia, Russia was obliged to provide all possible assistance in case of an attack on Serbia. On the other hand, Austria. Under a defensive treaty between Hungary and Germany, the Triple Alliance of 1882, the other was liable to go to war in the event of an attack on one of them. Britain, on the other hand, was responsible for Nazim's defense under a long-standing treaty of neutrality. Another link was the trilateral agreement between Britain, Russia and France, under which in case of an attack on any of the countries, the other countries will help a lot. Thus, the masterminds of World War I sitting in Britain and France had prepared a plan which was intended to create conditions in which Charonakar Austria, Hungary or Germany would attack a country of the other group, and thus Britain, Russia and France would get an opportunity to attack them. Germany, being a rival power, was a very difficult target for the Allies. While Austria, along with being a weak government and empire, Hungary was a country of many nations which was always suffering from linguistic and cultural, intellectual and practical crisis. And so the ambitions of the Allies were best served from which to create the impetus for the outbreak of war. Serbia and Austria. The problem of Hungarian contradictions and animosity became an international problem, and the planners made these two countries the base. Under the Russian blessing, Serbia dared so much that Austria, the Crown Prince of Hungary, was killed along with his wife. It was later revealed that the Serbian government was responsible for the murder, and that Gavrilo Princip Vijas, a member of the terrorist organization Black Hand, had come to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sofia at the behest of the government. Austria, the Hungarian government, was aware of the 6 plans behind the Serbian initiative. King Franz Joseph, aware of the ambitions of Russia, Great Britain and France, was offering PASO. Before starting the war with Serbia, he wanted to take a closer look at the effects of the war. and he wanted assurances of German intervention instead of being the result of Russian intervention. While General Franz was in favor of an immediate attack on Serbia, he wanted to wait only as long as the forces needed to attack. On 5 July 1914, the ambassador of France Joseph met with Kaiser William II, in which Kaiser William told Austria, assured full support of Hungary and war against Russia in case of Russian attack. Austria on 7 July. The Hungarian Council of Ministers drafted an ultimatum calling on Austria to investigate the events. Hungary sent its officers to Serbia and wanted to complete the cases of punishment if proven. Things were changing very fast. Every moment was becoming very important. The gardens of time were coming out of unseen hands. It is proven that at the time of planning, the planners formulate the features of the plan according to their will and intention, but once the project starts, the circumstances and events are not fully grasped according to the plan. And the circumstances and events determine their degree by themselves. These few days were of great importance for Europe, which can only be seen in the context of the day-to-day changing situation that the student can understand the real facts. On 15th July, the visit of the French President and Prime Minister to Russia and the completion of the harvest was delayed by the ultimatum and dated 23rd July 1914 to Austria. Hungary issued an ultimatum to Serbia to accept all terms within 48 hours or be ready for war. Serbia mobilized his small army against the Russians and, at the end of the ultimatum period, dated 28 July diplomatically to Austria, indicated to accept some of the conditions issued by Hungary.